Yo, what's up? It is the pilot episode of the Todd and Jarrett show. Hopefully, you guys like that name, or hopefully you like the eventual name that we come up with. This is my third or fourth podcast that I'm trying to start developing. I have been friends with Todd for about 5 years. Very similarly to my other podcast, whenever we see each other, we always have great conversation. We always have disputes on some stuff, but we actually have like good disputes that are constructive conversations, not just like canceling each other out and saying, I don't fuck with you anymore. And then we actually agree on some stuff, and definitely, I think, agree on a lot of hypocrisy in stuff that we see. The way I met Todd 5 years ago was in grad school at Temple University. I'm not going to share too much details, but he had an awesome presentation that really stood out in class, and I was like, I got to meet this guy. We ended up becoming friends, and been like that ever since. So this show, a little bit, we're going to kind of talk about what our common interests are and like what we see hypocritical. We have a common interest of business too, so we'll be commenting on that. Anything else to share, Todd?
Yeah, I think, and I want to give credit where well, and first, I'll reveal a little bit more. The way Jeremy and I met is I put an incredibly inappropriate drug-based theme in a statistics presentation. Throughout my career at Temple, I had multiple people coming up and be like, "Oh, you were the guy with the cocaine bear."
Yep.
Yes, I was. The professor
It was literally my first ever class, first class I was taking, the second actual class. I was like, wow, that is wild.
My second or third class that I'd ever taken. I just, you got to start off strong.
Yep.
But so when Jeremy approached me about doing this, we started talking about the concept and sort of what we do. And I think we put together a format that another podcast I like. It's Matt Taibbi and Katie Halper. They're called Useful Idiots. And one of the things they do in their show is they call it the 4 food groups. And so it's basically they have 4 topics, and their topics are Republicans suck, Democrats suck, think isn't that terrible, isn't that weird, and they basically each sort of alternate those and just talk about a story that sort of fits into that mold, and then they discuss it. And I think it's a really nice, easy format that allows for some discussion and sort of some similar topics. So Jeremy, I think what we came up with, we're going to just sort of steal Republicans suck and Democrats suck, because, we both love talking politics and current events and all that. Then, we're also going to talk about funny business, which is basically something, like a comedic story from the world of business. And then something called horrible or hilarious. And I think each week that could be something that is either going to be horrible, or it's going to be hilarious. And maybe we can find a twofer that is hilariously horrible or horribly hilarious,
Yeah. Sometimes, depending on the person, some will find it hilarious and some will find it horrible.
And I think that's really the needle that would be the ultimate horrible or hilarious. And I think as time goes on, it'd be great. We could maybe kick around some different topics or subject areas, and I think we'll just figure out what to talk about. But so Jerry, you want to get started? I think you got Republicans suck this week. Oh no, you got Democrats suck this week.
Democrats suck. Although they're all the same these days, it's hard to differentiate. But I like that we're starting off this pilot episode. I'm just like Todd starting off NBA, coming in hot. I think we're gonna start this show coming in hot.
All right.
Let me actually preface this with, I reserve the right to change my opinion at any time. If I get canceled, or if I'm on my way to getting canceled, I'll definitely change my opinion to appease everyone, instead of just losing my voice. And also, everything I say, I'd like to think comes from love and really just trying to understand. So if anyone wants to try and convince me otherwise of my opinions or what I don't understand, I'm open to that. I want to hear that. This is just from my point of view, what I see and what doesn't really always make sense to me. With that being said, where's AOC at the border wall? Why isn't, or at the border, not the wall, the no more wall? But I really don't understand. I've read into it. I know there's probably a lot of stuff that I haven't read into. So I don't want to sound too ignorant, but it doesn't seem too different than what was happening the last 4 years, or what was happening before those 4 years. It wasn't good under Obama. It wasn't good under Trump, and it's not good now under Biden. And I think, I don't know what the answer is. We can say that. You don't have to say oh, we have the answer. But to say that right now is not as bad under Trump when numbers are skyrocketing, explain it. I don't know. I don't really get that.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
that's really it.
it's just a seasonal surge. This is just what we always expect. And how dare you call it a surge? Because as I think as AOC said, it's like you're militarizing these children and people coming across. It's like that is not what the word surge comes from.
Yeah.
And I think you're absolutely right, because like the hypocrisy on the border issue is just stunning. And actually to sort of add on to that, I read, Joe Biden during his campaign literally said, like, we will build no more wall. We will stop seizing land. And I read an article just this morning that basically said that the Biden administration just seized 7 acres of land from a family in Texas on the border to continue building more wall. So it's like, I don't get it. And,
So here's a question for you. Do you think that the people who say that actually believe it? Or do you think like they're just trying to like get their way?
No, and and the way that that they don't mean it is because when the whole kids in cages things first hit, I forget, it was maybe Associated Press or ABC News or someone, they were throwing up these pictures and being like, look at the condition these children are in, and then come to find out that picture was taken during the Obama administration.
Yeah, I remember that.
All the facilities, and it was like, and
did you see that the new one looks exactly the same and has a flat screen monitor in it now?
Yeah. Well,
and it's like, they gave them a monitor.
It looks more dystopian to me because of COVID. It's got all the like plastic walls up in between it. Like it reminds me in like a pandemic movie where it's like, oh, you're being forcefully quarantined in this thing, and it's all the plastic around you, and you're all separated. And yeah, and I mean, look, a year ago there were concentration camps. Right now they're like migrant holding facilities. And I just think it's that is the thing that upsets me. It's like, look, we can. Just because a Republican does it or a Democrat does it and you're a Republican or a Democrat doesn't mean you have to start shucking and jiving and trying to defend them. It's like a wrong thing is a wrong thing. And the conditions those children are being kept in at the border is terrible. Like you said, terrible under Obama, terrible under Trump, terrible under Biden. And the fact that it's upsetting because the left and Democrats are just so neutered that they can't even effectively go after their own. And the other thing is that and it's something that people hate about all politicians. It's just a blatant hypocrisy. That's
exactly what I was going to say. Sorry, I want to cut it off and then go to Republicans. But my last comment, my bad, is just I think it takes away from people believing other things that they might say because it's just so obvious. And it's like, it's doing a disservice.
100%.
It's doing a disservice, and it's losing people's trust. Let's hear your hypocrisy. I'm excited to hear this.
Well, and I think it's less hypocrisy and more just a very prominent Republican, I think, being an asshole. So Nancy Pelosi, who, I've got no love lost for, she just released her memoirs, and apparently in it, she talked about how when Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, that Mitch McConnell basically seemingly single-handedly blocked her from being laid in state in the Capitol Rotunda. So she ended up in this little it's called, I think, Sanctuary Hall. It's like a part of the Capitol, but it's not, the rotunda.
Right.
Hate her or love her, no matter what you think about her, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, in her time before her time on the Supreme Court, she was doing amazing work for women's rights and pushing for equality. And at a time when, they weren't talking about microaggressions, and they weren't talking, I mean, this was in the day and age of, women being fired for being pregnant, and, all this stuff happening much more commonly, and really making strides against that. And, to bring politics into sort of paying respects to and just to sort of honor an obviously amazing and accomplished woman, it's just like, why? Like, if nothing else, why couldn't you have taken the opportunity to just extol her, praise her for her work and for her obvious intellect, and let her lay in the goddamn Capitol?
Wait, was it his decision or he he promoted this decision? Or
at the time, the Republicans still controlled the Senate, so I'm sure it didn't get into a lot of detail like how he actually blocked it. And so look, Pelosi could be lying, who knows, but it wouldn't shock me at all. And it's just it goes to show that our politics has just become so degraded to the point of it's just so petty and nasty. And it's like, when Justice Scalia died and people on the left were cheering and talking about it, and people on the right being happy that Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, it's just like, Jesus Christ, can we just respect the dead? And understand that these people weren't evil. They were ideologues sort of on different sides, both incredibly intelligent, both deserving of respect in just sort of the fact they were elevated to the Supreme Court. And it's just nasty. And I think it just fits in because, Mitch McConnell, like the dude looks like a turtle, as everyone knows. Like, and he's got, all these crazy nicknames and stuff. And he's just sort of a jerk. Like, he's just like a mild-mannered jerk.
And I feel like, unfortunately too, like, because he did that, like, obviously if he dies, there's going to be people cheering now or like trying to whatever. And it's really hard. I'm not good at it a lot of times, but I try, or I guess be cognizant is like, you got to be the bigger person first in order to like make change. And it seems like Democrats and Republicans keep going the wrong way and trying to like be bad. And it's like, I like to revert to like Mahatma Gandhi or MLK in the civil rights movement. Is like they took losses multiple times in a row to prove that they were doing what was right, and eventually I think won. And I feel like the Republicans and Democrats right now is like they just want to get one on the other every single time. And it's like, just let the other side look dumb for a little bit, even if they pass this law and that law. I think in time people will eventually realize, but instead they nitpick and then people just get more and more upset.
No, it's and I think it just really just goes to show it's, so much like the thing that's upsetting is just there's just so much politics that goes on. And obviously I think AOC is really a great example of this. It's just like, you're a politician. You shouldn't be clout chasing on Twitter or Instagram. You shouldn't try to getting clapbacks against, Jim Jordan or some other Republican who's an asshole. Like, and both sides are guilty of it. And it's just, and honestly, like I blame Mark Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey for creating these horrific companies that, look, we all use them, but they've just degraded the public discourse so much around politics that you just people can't even communicate anymore. And it's like we're losing sort of a shared set of facts that everyone agrees on. Like, that's the scary part, that everyone has their own facts now.
That's I think a pretty good segue to my funny biz, actually.
Okay.
My funny biz is something that makes no sense to me, but what seems to be like successful these days are what is popular on Twitter and Facebook. It doesn't matter if there's substance to it or if there's actual utility to it. So similar to like what I'm saying, the politicians, a lot of politicians don't even have good ideas anymore, but that doesn't matter. As long as they have 1 million followers on Twitter, they're going to win. So it doesn't matter what the substance is. So what am I talking about, or what am I related to? Dogecoin. Dogecoin skyrocketed the last couple of days. It's at like 40 cents right now.
Oh,
I look like an idiot because I told a bunch of people to not buy Dogecoin, to stay far away. I still think to stay far away from it. The RSI is way above 90 right now. It means overbought. Most likely what I think is a lot of people who are amateur investors are getting into it and they're seeing it go up and they're getting excited. And what I would do, I would take my money out so I at least have my initial investment back. A lot of people are like, oh, I heard about this cryptocurrency stuff and it just goes up forever. And now they're putting more and more money in. And once that money starts going down from Dogecoin, it's gonna, I think, go down just as fast as it goes up or went up. And it's not gonna be good for the people who had $400 and put 300 into it. Yeah. And the people who are gonna be laughing still is like Elon Musk, who I usually like, but like, I don't know why he promoted Dogecoin. He did explain a little that he said like it started off as a joke, which it definitely did. It's a meme coin, literally made as a joke to show that it doesn't do anything. And basically he was like, yeah, that's how it started off. But a lot of people like to cheer on like the ironic winners or whatever. I get that, but it has no utility. And then the one thing too is like, people are like, yeah, but Bitcoin has no utility. That's also whatever. Bitcoin has a fixed supply. So Dogecoin doesn't have a fixed supply. They're minting new coins every day. So I believe it's like 10,000 coins every hour, something like that.
Hold on. There is no upper limit on Dogecoin at all. I thought it was set something super, super ridiculously high, but is there literally no?
it's infinite. So literally there's more coins sold every day. So right now, the circulating supply, I think, is like 100 billion. Let me look. Is 130 billion right now, which means 100 and that's what those circulating supply is right now. Let's say they, I think, come out with like 2 million new coins a day, somewhere around there. That means 2 million people need to buy at the price it's at right now, 36 cents, just to sustain the price. If it was a fixed supply, you don't need any new buyers any day. You just don't need any new sellers to sustain that price. I don't see it happening. And it's just weird. It's a funny business. People are making money on it, so I can't hate on them. But at the same time, this just doesn't make sense. It's hype, and like hype seems like what people go on right now.
You know, and I just looked at Coinbase, and right now it's at 38 cents, following a high of 43 cents. And I'm kicking myself because I was looking at like, this Dogecoin thing, whatever. I was going to buy like, 1,000 of them at like 16 cents. That would have been nice. Right. I think it was Mark Cuban recently said like I think maybe the whatever basketball team they're going to hold Dogecoin on like their balance sheet. And it's just like, his kids got Dogecoin, and he's been investing in Dogecoin with his kids for like fun. So I think that's the thing that's like what's so weird is it takes one rich person to just support something that doesn't make sense. Yeah. And everyone hops on, and then all of a sudden, like maybe it does make sense, or it will eventually. Someone will come up with something. There's another great part of that. Elon Musk tweeted out something about like everyone should use Signal, and there was some completely, which is like an encrypted messaging app, doesn't save your, and there was some unrelated stock that I think its ticker symbol was like SNGL or something like that, and it just skyrocketed because everyone thought that's what he was talking about. Well, and yeah.
Another one. This is my last funny thing. I want to try and really stay with the time frames, but who did Carole Baskin kill again?
Tiger King. Oh no, her husband.
Yeah. But Carole Baskin was available on Cameo. You can like hire people to say happy birthday or whatever. I actually got Cameo some like $10 weightlifter to do it for my brother. It was awesome. I love that business. I love the idea. Someone got Carole Baskin to say she bought some random penny stock. The penny stock skyrocketed like 500% the next day. There's definitely illegal,
right?
There's definitely insider implications with that, but dude, there's so much illegal shit going on right now. Like no one can even keep up because Dogecoin, or like maybe it was a crypto actually. Crypto's unregulated. You can't catch Carole Baskin for that, and who knows if who knows if she actually did it.
And my other, since we're talking crypto, we'll move on soon. But my other like favorite subset of stories coming out of this whole crypto stuff is everyone who like the guy who had the Bitcoin wallet worth like $250 million that forgot the password.
Yeah, he's like got like 2 attempts left.
Yeah, and it's like, oh man, you're screwed. Yeah. You're not gonna figure it out. And then I was listening to another podcast, and the host was like, I have a laptop somewhere that has like 10,000 Dogecoin on it, because he was getting it when it was, a tenth of a penny or whatever.
Yep.
It's just hilarious. I think you're gonna see a lot more of that, which is like everyone's like, I thought this was a joke, and it's on some like thumb drive somewhere. But all right, so moving on to horrible, hilarious. I didn't want to be too much of a downer, so I'm right. Funny. It's a classic thing because it comes out of Florida, and just Florida is obviously just a never-ending wellspring of just ridiculous stories. So there's this drawbridge in Florida that people, at least very recently, some guy just blew through like the gate, like the arm that comes down, and actually jumped the drawbridge as it was opening up. And like, it's not like Dukes of Hazzard or anything nuts. Like it was literally probably like, this much separated, but like car fully got air, goes over. And the article was like 3 months ago, someone on a motorcycle did the same thing, and like the same video. And the motorcycle did actually a little bit more of a jump. But my favorite part of that story is like they're tracking down the people, like to know who they are. And it's like, I feel like when the cops go to like ticket them or arrest them or whatever, the guys should be like, I don't care, I'd do it again.
Definitely. I mean, well, that's one of the funny things about like news these days is like people love the clout. So it's you give them all of this attention, he's all about it. If we didn't give him attention, I bet you maybe, and we like secretly arrested him, he probably wouldn't do it again. But if you're on national news and people are like, oh shit, that looks kind of cool, he doesn't care. And then like a lot of time too, I feel with GoFundMe these days is like someone will fucking get him a GoFundMe, he'll be a millionaire, and he'll be like instigated to do that shit 10 times crazier, 10 times whatever, more.
You know, and I feel like that could be a whole different segment we maybe test out is something ridiculous from GoFundMe. Because like the chick that put the gorilla.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. The girl who couldn't get home from Atlanta?
Huh?
Did you see the girl who couldn't get home from Atlanta?
Yeah. Oh, basically, I mean, let's say what it is. Like the girl went down to go hoe it up around the NBA All-Star game, and then like her I think her unemployment check or stimulus didn't post to her account. She literally got stuck there.
Yeah.
People were giving her money.
Which, as ridiculous as that is, and how dumb she might sound, that was the norm from what I saw. People spent their stimuluses on vacations and luxuries, not for necessities. And now, like when the eviction moratium's coming up or this or that, they have no money, and it's like, yo, they gave us money for these reasons. But that shit was hilarious. So I actually like that idea. GoFundMe is hilarious. So we're definitely scouting out and going through that. I think that's about time for the first episode. That was awesome. I actually really like the format of that. I'm gonna share this on my like personal Facebook. Everyone, if you guys like this format, please let me know. Or if you have like any tweaks that you think would improve it, that would be awesome too. Just let us know. Feedback is wanted. Todd, you look like a toad in the grass. Do you have any closing remarks?
No, man. I think thank you for. I've been thinking about doing something like this for a while, but never had the initiative to get it going and get it pushing. But just thank you to you for reaching out and bringing me this bringing the idea up and for pulling it all together. And like I said, I think let's sort of fuck around with some different topic ideas and categories, and we sort of randomly mix it up each week and figure out what we love, what other people like, and we'll go from there. But I think this was a great first discussion. I've always enjoyed my time with you. So thanks again, and let's go into the weekend strong.
Hell yeah, thank you. And one thing that I'm a huge proponent on is like, if you have an idea, pursue it. Your first iteration is not going to be the best. People will hate on it. Doesn't matter if people hate on it. If you enjoy it, it's worth doing. So I enjoyed talking to Todd. Hopefully some people enjoy this, but at the end of the day too, like we're pursuing something we enjoy. I think that's really cool. So I'm glad that you're doing this with me too, Todd. Peace out, guys. Have fun. Later.
Bye.